So Edouard Meylan, I'm the CEO of Moser and Company and the owner of Moser and Company through our family holding called Melb Holding. My father, Edouard Meylan, was for many years in charge of Audemars Piguet as CEO, and I grew up about 200 meters away from the manufacturer in Le Brassus. Spent many years up there in the mountains, so that's how I got the passion about watchmaking together with my brother, and we work together in this industry today, together for Moser, or for the Melb Holding. As I said, it's a family business, independent. We own also Haute-Lance. The idea is to get a certain economy of scale by combining independent brands together. We have the chance to produce a lot ourselves, including hairsprings. A very beautiful project, very passionate people. I have the chance to have my father as a backup, or somebody supporting this whole project, not on the operation side, but as the chairman, obviously the financial support of the family. So it's very hard. I mean, I would say there's threats or risks at every corner, being supply, being distribution, being access to communication. I mean, it's difficult in all aspects, but at the same time we're independent, meaning that we can be creative, we can be provocative, we can do things differently, and that's a chance. So I think you need to be smart. We had the chance to work with people who have a great experience of bringing brands to a higher level. That's what happened with AP at a totally different scale, but trying to think differently and more industrialized and in a positive way, not trying to make things cheaper and get rid of finishing, which is definitely not what we believe in. We believe in traditional high-end watchmaking, but trying to produce and assemble and develop movements and watches in general in a smarter way. And I think that's what's so important if you want to be able to survive in this industry. But actually, it didn't start with that watch. It started. We have a lot of clients. We are experts. Part of our expertise at Moser and Company is hairsprings and escapement, which is quite unique. I think there's 10 brands in the world, and the others are probably the biggest in the world that can work on hairsprings. But our specialization is to work with brands, small and big, a lot of independents who are looking for an innovative solution to make their movements stick. It's a very, very specific area of watchmaking, extremely strategic. And we have that expertise. We have great material, we have great people, we have great machines, and we produce, I'm quite proud to say, probably some of the best escapements out there. But there's a difference between what you put in your computer and modelize. When a client comes to me and says, hey, this is my new movement, I want to put an escapement in there, what do you suggest? And we bring a few solutions, some more innovative than others. Which one is going to be the best? On the computer we can make certain simulations, but there's no constraint. You can simulate certain constraints, but not all of them. And there's always a difference with the reality. And when you test in reality the same solutions, because of all the constraints around it, it's quite far from the theory. So we said, how can we learn more and kind of test certain of those innovations, but removing those constraints without just being a computer, because everything works on computer. And somebody told me, well, then let's go to space. And I'm like, yeah, great idea. How are we going to do this? And then we just laughed about it. And a few months later, I heard on the radio in Switzerland that the University of Zurich was organizing the first zero gravity flight in Switzerland, and one of the first in Europe. I said, hey, let's call them and see whether we can do something together. And we presented the project, they liked it, and we collaborated to fly out there together with Vici, which is our partner on that project. We create the devices or the instruments to measure the accuracy and the precision of the movements. And we created a bench for testing for 10 movements with 10 different configurations, so we can test them against each other in zero gravity, but against their model that we have on the computer as well, to test new patents that we are working on, a new principle to work on the curves, for example, the Breguet curves, the Philippe curve, and the flat curves, and also to test new materials like paramagnetic materials that we are working on. So that was the idea. And then since we said we're going to go there, and we had this project of launching the Pioneer collection, I thought maybe we could do something, because it would be fun to have like this watch flying out there and the movement and experience this zero gravity, and not just focusing on this test, because the test is basically you set it up, you control that it works well, but then you have time to experience the zero gravity. So it's a cost which was quite reasonable, and we said let's use it and be, if possible, the first brand to kind of launch a new line of product in zero gravity, and that's why we launched that product up there with me like trying to play with it and a little bit lost with the sensations, and so they still be before the end of the year. We have prototypes because we're testing the movements. We want to make sure they're fully reliable and they're top quality and all those things, and it's a few months of testing, and if everything goes well as it is doing at the moment, I think November, December, the first ones will be delivered in the market. But it's a Dubai Watch Fair. Dubai is an interesting market for us because we've been, H. Moser is a very classic, traditional brand historically, and it's been like this until 3 years ago, I would say, when we took over. And since then, our vision has been to continue to play on this traditional, extremely classic, high-end watchmaking, but at the same time trying to bring something more sexy, being the design, the material, the size, so that people from our generation who like traditional and classic watches don't have to buy the watch of their father or grandfather. And we saw that in a market like Dubai, the Middle East, this is taking a very positive trend, because we were maybe too small and too traditional in the past. In the last 3 years, we saw this market evolving quickly for us. So when the Sediki said they're organizing this Dubai Watch Fair, focusing on independence, we said, oh, we're there. And also because we have a long-term relationship with them through my father and Mohammed's father for many years, and we really appreciate it. It's all about, when you're independent like us, entrepreneurs, it's all about relationship with the suppliers, but also with the distributors. And if the Sediki family is a family, like the Meylan family, we are a family. And there was no way we wouldn't be there today. And I'm surprised how professional, not surprised, I said I know how structured they are here. It's incredible. It's probably one of the most structured partners that we have in terms of reports, in terms of everything. But the way they organize this, knowing that it's the first time that they do it, it's very impressive. So I'm very glad we're here today.